Hey, 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 and welcome to The Chef's Table, a weekly video series for culinary entrepreneurs who want to monetize their skills outside of the kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Evelyn. This is the place for successful women who want to live, cook, and work on their own terms. So if that's you, let's get started. Hey, 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 it's Chef Evelyn, and I am back with another episode of The Chef's Table. And in this video, I want to talk about how to tell if you are treating your business like a hobby or if you are operating like a professional. Because a lot of times we are busy and we are creating a lot of movement and we're wondering why we're not making progress. And so while these aren't the only symptoms or signs to tell if you've been, being more of a hobbyist than a professional, I think this will definitely, give you a good gut check, a good kind of, shoulder shake to see if you're on the right path. So before we get started, if you are not a part of my Chefpreneur Society, then I strongly encourage you to join. Over the next few months, I'm going to be doing some monthly live trainings, and you have to be a part of that group in order to have access. So I've recently done a couple of live streams here on the actual channel, but if you want to be a part of that where we can, I can go a little bit more in depth in some things and you can ask your questions, then make sure you go to chefevelyn.com/society to join. And ladies, I will see you over there. So as always, I have my notes with me and we are going to jump right into it. So there's about 10 things that will distinguish whether or not you've been operating as a hobbyist, which there is no shade if you've been operating as a hobbyist. But if you really want to build a high-end culinary brand, if you really want to build a profitable and sustainable business, then you definitely want to take notes. So if you do not have a piece of paper or a napkin or a notebook or whatever you're doing, or if you're on your computer, pull up a Word document or a Pages document. If you're on your phone, open up the Notes tab, because I really want you to evaluate yourself and listen. Like the old folks used to say, as we go through these, if you can't say amen, say ouch. Okay, so here is the first difference between whether you've been a hobbyist or you are operating as a professional. If you have been operating as a hobbyist, you're always waiting to do things until you are motivated to do them. So whether you feel like you're in the mood, or you feel like being creative, or you feel like, you want motivation, you're looking for the next best quote on Instagram that's going to give you a little kick in the pants, and you're looking for the next best YouTube video that's really kind of shake your shoulders, versus if you are a professional, you are operating not out of motivation, but you are operating out of discipline, which means you are doing things that need to be done simply for the fact that they need to be done, and you want the result whether or not you are in the mood for it, whether or not you like it, because you know that it needs to be done, right? So a lot of people are really like, I just need some more motivation. I just need some more motivation. You absolutely do not need more motivation. What you need is discipline if you want to be a professional and not a hobbyist, okay? So that's number one. Number two is that typically when something is a hobby, when obstacles arise, it's like, well, I can't do that, and I can't figure out how to do that, and I can't afford that, and I don't have the time for that, and I can't, right? And again, this is no shade if you are in this place, right? It's just a gut check and to help you decide, do you really want to do this thing, or do you just want it to be a hobby? And again, there's nothing wrong with either choice that you make, right? Whereas a professional, an entrepreneur, when they are faced with the obstacles, the first thing they're thinking is, how can I do this? How can I afford this? How can I solve this, right? I can't afford not to do this, not to buy this, not to invest in this, not to move forward in this way, right? So they're more of, when a problem arises or a challenge arises, they are asking a different question, because when you ask a different question, you get a different answer, okay? So think about this in your life. So not even just in your business, when things arise, do you immediately go to a default setting of, oh, I can't do that, or I don't have the time, or ain't nobody got time for that, whatever. If that's your default setting, then you may want to consider just allowing this to be a hobby. But if you have definitely switched over to asking a different question, when something arises, you go, yeah, this needs to be done, or I need to do this, or I need to invest in this, or I need to move forward on this. And the data says that I can't, or that it's not a good idea. And your problem solving mind clicks on and says, but what would it take for me to be able to? How can I? So that's number 2. Number 3, hobbyists try to build their brand off of scraps and free information, and professional and committed entrepreneurs invest to get solutions. So for example, right, imagine trying to cook like a 4-course gourmet meal with people's kitchen scraps, right? Like you're missing out on ingredients. People have thrown it in the trash. They put it in their compost. Can you imagine trying to do that? So a lot of people are trying to build a high-end culinary brand off of free YouTube videos, off of a post they saw on Instagram, off of Google searching and trying to see what other chefs are doing, having no idea if those other chefs are profitable or not, having no idea if those other chefs enjoy their businesses or not, having zero idea if those chefs even understand business or how to price their products and services. You're Google searching, you're copying, you're looking, you're sneaking on Instagram, you're doing all of these things, right? Because you're a hobbyist, you're not a professional, right? Because when you're committed to the entrepreneurship journey, you're saying, okay, I'm going to pay for a solution. I'm not going, the time that I'm spending on Google trying to figure it out on my own is diminishing returns, right? You're definitely not going to get an ROI for the amount of energy and time you spent when you could have just cut a check and got a solution, right? So, entrepreneurs that invest in solutions and guidance and strategy, right? So whether it is a tool, whether it's a technology, whether it's information, whether it's support, accountability, team members, whatever the case may be, they invest in solutions, and hobbyists try to build off of scraps, okay? Number 4, okay, is hobbyists, when obstacles arise, they retreat. Right? You know what? I'm just gonna take a break. You know what? I'm just gonna pause. Like, this really isn't working for me right now. My mental space. Listen, y'all know I'm all about self-care. I'm all about mental well-being. Also, I'm all about, like, you need to know the difference between when it's truly not self-care, or when it's truly self-care, and when it's just, this is an obstacle and it might be a little challenging for you to get through it. And entrepreneurs have mastered the art of knowing the difference and knowing when to persevere and when to rest, right? So they are resourceful. They find solutions. Like, let me give you an example. One of the things that I work with my clients with is really unlearning the employee mindset that they were taught, right? From the time we are in kindergarten all the way through college, master's degree, etc. We are basically being groomed to be employees. It's not a bad thing, but that is the reality of what it is, right? Even down to the way, public school and things like that are structured is designed to make you a functioning adult employee, okay? And so one of the things we're taught very early on when we're taught how to problem solve is that getting the answer from somebody else is a really, really bad thing. And in that context, that is accurate, right? In the context of school, when you're first learning something for the first time, things like that, getting the answer from somebody else is considered cheating and is frowned upon. It is the complete opposite in entrepreneurship. If you have a problem that you're trying to solve and you don't know the answer, in entrepreneurship, the thing you do is you go find somebody who has the answer and you pay them for the answer, right? It's called resourcefulness, which is why, in all of those like teeny bopper movies or the things, shows that we've seen over the years, there was always somebody that was selling like a homework paper or selling, the solutions to the test and all that kind of stuff. And while in those contexts that was frowned upon, that is the nature of what entrepreneurship is. People are saying, I have got the answer you're looking for. You don't have to go figure it out on your own. You don't have to spend all that time and energy and frustration, particularly something that you don't know how to do, don't have the time to go learn, don't want to do yourself. This is why we hire coaches, consultants, strategists, mentors. This is why we hire assistants and graphic designers and photographers and videographers, because they have already spent the time, the energy, the money, the resources to learn that specific skill set and be able to solve that problem for you. And entrepreneurs know that, so their resourcefulness, because at their core, they are problem solvers, right? So a hobbyist retreats when obstacles come along. Entrepreneurs become resourceful and look for solutions. Number 5. Oh, this is a big one. When you are operating your business like a hobby, you are always in reactionary mode. You know, you're running your whole game plan off of defense, right? And when you are a professional entrepreneur, like a serious entrepreneur, you're spending most of your time in an offensive position. You do have a defensive strategy for your business, but you're spending most of your time being proactive, not reactive, right? Because you know that you can minimize how much time you need to be reactive if you're proactive. Are you proactive with your clients? Are you proactive with your marketing? Are you proactive with your finances? Are you proactive with your growth and development? Are you proactive with your client experience and customer service? Are you proactive with the plan for your business, the strategy, or are you waiting until you experience pain, or until you're not hitting your goals, or until you're not making the revenue you want to make, or until you're burnt out to go, oh, something's wrong, right? And again, you may be at the stage where you're like, I didn't even realize I wasn't being proactive and that I was being reactive and I want to change. That's fine. It can be fixed. But if that is your default setting, is to operate of being reactive, you're just waiting for the opportunities to come to you. You're not going out and getting opportunities, right? Things like that. If you're always in a defensive position, right? And for those of you who watch sports, you understand this. You cannot win a game on defense alone. You have to be offensive. You have to be proactive. What are you doing? If you're serious about this thing, right, and you want to build a high-end culinary brand and you want to do this full time, then what are you doing to proactively do that, right? If you don't have a plan for that, then you're probably not doing that, okay? Let's move on to number 6, okay? When you are functioning your business as a hobbyist, you are worried about things like, well, how long is this going to take? Well, how much is it going to cost? Things like that. When you're an entrepreneur, you're asking yourself, what's the return on this investment? It's never a cost. It's an investment, right? Because you know that if I invest this, there's going to be some return. You're more focused on the ROI percentage than the actual dollar amount of input, right? Like if I invest this amount, what will I get on the back end when this is over? And you also have the mindset that things that need to be done take as long as they take, that the time is going to pass anyway, right? So whether you start this project, whether you start this coaching program, whether you start this course, whether you start down this course of action, right? That how long it takes, you can't really control that. What you can control is how much energy and effort you put into it, how consistent you are, and that you know that at the end of the day, you want this thing done, or you want this goal accomplished, or you want to learn this skill, or you want to build this type of brand, and it takes as long as it takes. It's 2 very different mindsets. Let me tell you the quickest way I know that somebody's not a client for me is when they reach out to me and the first thing they want to say, well, how much is it? Don't even bother, okay? Because the people that are coming to work with me are like, I know what I can get on the other end and the investment is worth it. If people come to me and they say, well, how long is it going to take me to fill in the blank? Again, not a good fit for the chef's table experience, because that lets me know that they're not committed, that this is you'll have the rest of your life to build this brand. Who cares if it takes a year or 18 months to get to where you want to go, or 2 years, depending on what else you have going on in your life, right? That people who are committed to doing this professionally and full time say it takes as long as it takes, and the time is going to pass anyway. Whether I start today, tomorrow, 6 months from now, it's still going to take as long as it takes. And so they're thinking, I might as well start today because I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm committed to sticking to it until I reach my goal. So hobbyists are thinking, how much is it going to cost me? How much money am I going to lose? Right? And they're also thinking, okay, how long is it going to take me to fill in the goal? Lets me know you're not in it for the long haul. Entrepreneurship is a marathon, not a sprint. Sounds cliche, but the reason why it's cliche is because it's so true. If you're going to be doing this business for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right? Depending on where you are in your journey, does it matter how long it takes? Because the time is going to pass anyway. Okay, listen, I'm spicy today, y'all. Okay, I feel this. Okay, let's move on to number 7. Oh, this is the one. Let me tell you, when I do consultations with people, if they have this mindset, I don't even extend them an invitation into the chef's table experience, right? Because you're already letting me know where you were. When you're a hobbyist, you feel like you got it already. Oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, oh, okay, yeah, I know that. Well, if you know it, you would have done it. I remember this great quote. It goes, "How do you know that you know something? Not because you've read it, not because you've seen it, not because you've heard about it. When you know that you know something, it's because you have done it, right?" So when I run into people who are like, "Oh, I already know that. Well, I already know that. Well, then why are you here? Why are you watching this video? Why are you scheduling a consultation call? Why are you applying to be in my programs? Why are you emailing me? Why are you following me on social media?" Right? If you knew it already, you would have done it already. Listen, we're going to get this together for 2021 because I am at a place where I am so committed to wanting to help women who want to build a high-end culinary brand that I do not have the bandwidth, or I choose not to have the bandwidth for people who are uncoachable and unteachable. If you want to do this, we can do this, but you have to be willing to say, I've gone as far as my knowledge can take me. There is something I don't know, which leads me to the entrepreneurial mindset, which is they're always learning. There's always something to learn. Even if I just learned this one little nugget, the investment was worth it. Even if I just learned this one little piece, spending time doing that was worth it, right? Because they know that they're always learning. They're always improving. They've never arrived or completely got it. Yes, they know that they know what they know because they've done it, but then they also know, and there's things that I don't know that I could know that can make this even better over time, right? So they're all about continuous improvement, okay? So number 8, okay? Hobbyists like to DIY everything. Again, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier when they're trying to build their brand off of scraps. They're trying to DIY everything. They're trying to be their own assistant, their own graphic designer, their own website designer, their own photographer, their own videographer, their own bookkeeper, their own tax preparer, okay, their own customer service department, their own strategist, their own coach, their own mentor, their own accountability partner. They're trying to DIY everything, okay? And a professional, committed entrepreneur knows that they need to get support, right? And they know that while they may not be able to get all the support they need all at one time, that it's a process, they are fully aware that they need to invest in support, right? So I think about when I was in a phase of my business where I just felt like I had to do everything. And I remember thinking like, at one point, well, how much is it going to cost me? Until I saw that the value of, if I can hand this off to someone else, whether that is long-term planning for my business and giving me a long-term strategy, or giving me a strategy for more revenue, or administrative support, or graphic support, or photography support, or technical support. And I knew that I could pay somebody else for their expertise, which means I could spend my time doing more of what only I could do. I knew that I was going to see a return on the investment, right? That because I wasn't trying to go learn a whole nother skill set or do something that I'm not really that great at, or even if I'm good at, it's probably not the best use of my time, that I could go do something else. I already knew it was always going to be a win. So that is number 8. And this ties in with number 9, is that hobbyists try to do it all alone. And professional, committed entrepreneurs know that they need systems, they need strategy, they need support, they need accountability, they need community, they need all of the things, right? No woman is an island, right? No successful woman is an island. And we hear this all the time, that successful people have coaches, and they never stop having coaches. Michael Jordan had a coach until he stopped playing. And I guarantee you, he probably had some advisors when it comes to his business. People have financial advisors. This is why we have doctors. This is why we have mechanics. This is why we have plumbers. We have people to advise us in areas that are not our expertise, right? But somehow when it gets into entrepreneurship, people think that they know how to build something that they've never built before. If you've never built a house, do you just go, man, I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to build a house on my own? You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, you probably could. You could probably spend months, weeks, years, days, hours, minutes on the internet finding out all about the permits and what kind of material and what kind of tools you need and what kind of team you need and this kind of soil that you have in your region and what it takes and the regulations and all these kind of things. And I guarantee you it will take you forever to figure that out. So you probably could do it, right? But I also guarantee you that you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes along the way, right? And you're still going to have to ask for help because you won't be able to build it all by yourself. And you may not pass certain inspections. And even if you manage to build that house, a couple of years down the line, weird things will start to show up because you didn't know what you didn't need to know because you didn't have the expertise, the education, the experience. You didn't have any of that, right? Because you piecemealed it together, right? So it's the same thing in the business. I see people come to me that's like, I've been in business for 7 years. How much have you made in 7 years? Nothing. You didn't have a business. You had a hobby. Oh, I've had my business for 4 years. How much were you making every month? $700. How much were you spending every month? $2,000. Oh, okay. So you were losing money, right? Because you built a house without an architect. You built a house without a construction company, without a plumber, an electrician, a roofing company, right? Someone to excavate the land, right? Who knows how to do foundation? It's the same thing in your business. And you're wondering why there's leaks in your pipes and there's cracks in the foundation and there's all these types of things is because you built it as an island. Okay. And I thought I had 10 here. But it looks like I only have 9. So I promise you I know how to count. Okay. But like this video was not intended to beat up on you, but it's really like I'm really in a place where we're time for play. Like we've been having a great time on these videos, but I have gotten to a place where I was like, you know what? I really only work with committed people. I really only want to work with people who are like, you know what? I want to be in this full time. You are more than welcome to watch these videos, or if you are still in the hobbyist phase, tally up your score. How many out of the 9, right, was a hobby versus a professional entrepreneur who was committed, right? And be honest with yourself. That's not shame because it can change, right? So really, really think about, what do you want to do? Do you really want to be committed? Do you want to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes, right? I remember when I decided like, okay, like if I'm going to do this, like I'm actually going to do it. And that means I'm going to do whatever it takes, right? I'm going to invest the time, the money, the resources, the energy, the bandwidth, whatever I need to do to make this work. Okay. And it's the same thing here, right? So it wasn't a matter of if I could or whatever. It was a matter of how can I? Okay, so if you landed on, you know what, I'm more serious entrepreneur than, you know, fun time hobbyist, then I invite you to apply for the chef's table because that means that you're the kind of woman who's committed to getting results, and that's the only kind of women I like to work with. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you share this video with a friend or a colleague in the food service industry, and I hope that they find value out of it. Like I said, if you haven't joined the Chefpreneur Society for my monthly live Q&As, then make sure you do that. And like I said, if you found that you either want to change or you know that you're a full-time entrepreneur and you're committed and you're ready to elevate to a high-end culinary brand, then you can go to chefevelyn.com/apply to apply for the chef's table. And I will see you in the next video. Peace. Now, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you never miss a new episode. And to see what I'm cooking up behind the scenes, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook as Chef Evelyn. That's all for today, and I'll see you next week. Peace.